Greetings, everyone. It's great to be with you. Great to be learning with you. Thanks so much for taking the time to be with us and the sacrifice that entails in your life. We've got a special presentation today entitled The Eyes of a Mystic. In the July 1963 issue of the Rosicrucian Digest, there was included an article by Imperator Emeritus H. Spencer Lewis by that very title, The Eyes of a Mystic. That article would be later reprinted in a chapter in the book Master of the Rose Cross. I'll give you the resources uh, for these references we're using, and we'll follow up on that article on this intriguing subject that we've all worked to deeply fathom. We'll consider the conveyances that come to us when we look into the eyes and how these intimations help us in entering cosmic communion and learning the lessons of life. In this regard, I want to share with you an image that pertains to these matters. You'll see before you now a work by the celebrated and beloved Rosicrucian artist Nicomedes Gomez. And this is a work that's entitled The Inexhaustible Riches of Christ, in parentheses, St. Paul. So we see depicted before us the mystic Paul in prayer and reverence. Hands held together. You may even wish to hold your hands like that now as one of the ways that prayer is conducted, the way that the vital life force flowing down through the right arm is connected to into the left arm if you're right-handed, the way it closed the circuit for the great flows within the body, particularly the life force that we learn about in our weekly lessons in the Rosicrucian's teachings. You see the various graduations of color through the blackness and the darkness, the contrast that gives sense of three-dimensionality from this apparently two-dimensional work. Paul appears to have been working on his writings that would appear in the New Testament of the Christians. The Rosicrucians are not a religion, but we deeply appreciate the spirituality that comes through religion. Indeed, the etymology or derivation of the word religion is to be relink, the way we're all relinking to our deepest nature. And soon we'll ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum to do that great relinking or increase in our realization of it. You see the swirling of the robe here, like there's a double spiraling action, suggesting of the deep spiritual movements and motion within Paul. The beard itself is a tremendous amount of energy. Its curling forms, the radiating light out from Paul's head. We see his eyes gazing upward, the auric field around him with the contrast of the brightening light quickly around his skull. There's a sense of divine communion. Or as Richard Rees Buck in his book Cosmic Consciousness, who talked about Paul and other renowned figures of mysticism and history, coming into the cosmic sense, the experience of the consciousness of the cosmic. By cosmic, the Rosicrucian means the universal intelligence back of the cosmos and all natural and spiritual laws that we'll have an opportunity to increasingly realize in meditation that we'll do shortly. But you see here how the eyes of the mystic are conveying a deep sense of wellness and well-being in a way in the world, but also transcending the world. The eyes are a highly evolved and sensitive organism in the holy temple of the body. And we move from the finite plane to the infinite plane. We have that inner vision, that inner light that's associated with the spirituality, the deepest understanding. And it's well conveyed here in this work on the inexhaustible riches of the Christ, St. Paul. So at this time, I invite you, having taken in the inspiring work of art on our theme, The Eyes of a Mystic, I invite you to close your eyes and we'll have a period of meditation. So when you're ready, Just let go of the cares of the day. And if you're lying down, that's fine. Or if you're seated, just try to ensure that you can breathe in an unencumbered way. It can help to have the spine straight to do that. There's many wonderful properties associated with the spine and the microcosm. It is our, our body that we learn about in our weekly lessons of the Rosicrucians. Part of the intention of these weekly department instruction presentations is to increase our enthusiasm for the deeper lessons of life and for the coming into harmony of life, and increase our enthusiasm for the Rosicrucian studies, to stay the course with them. We can grow and build, become fully ourselves, draw out the divine within. I invite you to close your eyes now, however you're situated, seated or lying down or otherwise. Just get comfortable and enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath, the incoming and the outgoing, somewhat like waves by an ocean shore or lake shore. In a way, there's a parallel between this action and all the vibrations in the universe that the Rosicrucians ascribe through the cosmic keyboard, a great keyboard that extends the lowest rates of vibrations to the highest rates of vibrations. And in learning to master and live harmoniously, we're like a pianist that can play the full range of octaves on a great cosmic keyboard. This and many other things will apply as we ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum shortly. But for now, just let go of the cares of the day. Use this as a mini retreat partway through the day to get recharged and rested. Just concentrate now on the breath, and I invite you to extend your exhalation longer than your inhalation. And that automatically leads to a wonderful relaxation response. The great vagus nerve is stimulated. It's so wonderful to be relaxed. The holy temple of the body much appreciates it. Our mind appreciates it. Our whole being appreciates it. An important key to realize is that for us to heal properly, to become whole, we need to be relaxed. Feel a marked degree of tranquility, equanimity, calmness. In this calmness, we can spiritualize and the increasing presence of the divine within. You may wish to picture as you breathe in the increasing awareness of the master, true nature, the master within, the inner self. And let go with the outer breath, extended longer than the inner breath. Just let this mutually reinforcing dual action do its work. They're a profoundly simple act, but they have a profound, deepening, and calming effect. Not only for our well-being, but for all those we come in contact with. For when we're calm, we can see things more clearly. And when we're calm, we're more creative. And when we slow up like this, we have increased optimism. Mystics have known this from time immemorial. But it's good to see randomized controlled trials by psychologists verifying these matters as well. Also, as we become calm, our heart slows up. It can pause longer and yet work just as efficiently, which in a way mirrors how we need to work in our own life. Through our calmness, we're efficient. You can take longer breaks and yet accomplish as much or more, needing to redo less, working with more precision and accuracy. All of these things mystics have known since time immemorial, but being verified in health studies with randomized controlled trials, some that I've assisted in myself. Just continue to enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath and just let go and let flow. Whatever needs to be done with later today, I assure you, you'll come back stronger, more capable, more competent, more able to embrace, enjoy, and feel the maturation from all these tests, trials, and struggles and uplifting experiences in life. And if you find your mind wandering, just lovingly bring it back to the discipline of the breath. It's all part of the process. It's what psychologists refer to as increasing and strengthening our attentional control, not only for during the meditation period, but for the rest of the day. And one of the wonderful things about when we meditate regularly, I suggest to you and recommend to you at least an hour each day total. It could be an hour and half hour in the morning, half hour in the evening, what's best for you. Find that we build up a momentum, a mindfulness momentum that we can draw on at any time when challenging situations. Recall the meditative state. Take a deep breath and a long exhalation, and we'll draw back to this integrated state we're experiencing now. It's all part of the mastery of life. Recall the meditative state. Recall uplifting touch-tone experiences in your life. This gives us a whole new picture. Because it's not so much what's happening to us in our life, but how we're interpreting it. And the meditative state, that integrated state, will give us a much more mature viewpoint. The viewpoint of our true guide in life, the divine within. Our outer self or outer nature will not guide us in life. It's not its job, never was and never will be. We can recently surrender and receptive to the divine within, our inner self. It can increasingly take on its role as our guide, and we realize it as our true nature, imbuing and enriching every cell of our body through the cosmic consciousness, and imbuing our other forms of expression of consciousness, the subjective consciousness, the objective consciousness, the subjective, I should say the subconscious in its form of consciousness. Just continue to enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath and the increased sensitivity of the holy temple. We feel the tingling of the life force in the extremities of our body, the air moving in and out through the respiratory system, the great flow of the blood in the circulatory system, and many other systems in the body. And as we become more calm, they're able to work in a harmonious way like a great orchestra. Just enjoy the deepening silence, the enriching depth. Soon we'll ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum. Now we've applied the law of purification through this breathing action. It's helped bring us into an autonomic balance. That is the balancing of the autonomic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system that our eyes are very sensitive to, and our whole being uses to regulate and guide us through our life. One of the wonderful things that happens as we relax through meditation is not only the slowing up of the heart, but we come into a heart rate optimal range. It helps balance our autonomic and the parasympathetic nervous system. And in this purified and enriched state, I invite you to say with me now a prayer and invocation. May the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body. And I may enter the celestial sanctum in attune, in pureness and in worthiness. So mote it be. Now, friends and sorors and participants, I invite you to apply the instructions of the Central Rosicrucian Meditation booklet, Liber 777. I'll lead you in it now. Use all your inner psychic faculties and imaginative capacity to picture yourself now rising up from the room where you are. And now up over your dwelling or building and look down upon it and rise up faster and faster and see below you the system and order of your neighborhood or local geographic area. And keep rising up so you can be above now your town or your city. See below you the system and order, the human built structures, but also sense the atmosphere and the weather, the landforms, water forms. Keep rising up over your county and now even your province or state. Take in the system and order of it all, the beauty, the different colors, the weather systems, the landforms, the lakes, the oceans, the deserts, the farmers' fields, the hills, whatever is applicable to you. State or province, and keep rising up, enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent, and see below now you, the great country or nation where you dwell. And radiate love and well-being back to all people living there. So we continue to rise up, taking in now the continent where you live, and now the entire hemisphere where you live. As we rise up faster and faster, take in the entire beautiful blue jewel of the earth. Rotating about its axis, and even sense the great satellite of the moon revolving about the earth. Let us look up, see other planets of our solar system and the great fiery ball of the sun as we continue to rise up higher and higher. And as we do so, let us apply the law of correspondence, as above, so below. For as we rise higher and higher to the universe, we'll go deeper and deeper within ourselves to the very presence of the divine within. Let us continue to rise up and sense the various stellar phenomena like the quasars and the pulsars and the black holes helping balance the universe, myriad stars and nebula, the cosmic web connecting the stars and the galaxies, and sense the presence now of our great home, the Milky Way galaxy with its huge spiraling arms and stupendous rotation about its central axis where there's a huge black hole. Now let us continue to rise up through the Milky Way galaxy, sensing this stupendous rotating motion as we exit from it and look back at its spiraling arms and the wondrous beauty. And let us use all our physical senses and our inner psychic senses to take in the full range of the cosmic keyboard's vibrations, the higher and higher, lower and lower octaves, the great ocean of vibrations, and sense increasingly the cosmic, the universal intelligence back of the cosmos guiding all of this system and order as we rise up faster and faster, way beyond the speed of light, going by myriad stars and galaxies and even clusters of galaxies and superclusters or clusters of galaxies. Enjoying the speed and the exhilaration and the expansiveness of the universe, suggesting the expansiveness of the cosmic and our consciousness of the cosmic, the conscious of the whole. And we continue up higher and higher and faster beyond myriad stars and nebula and galaxies and clusters of galaxies and superclusters of galaxies. Start to sense the great stupendous rotating action of the universe itself about a great cosmic axis. You sense in the distance presence of that cosmic axis of which all is rotating about. It's part of the great music of the cosmos. Sense the cosmos also as a great temple, mirroring the temple for bodies, the microcosm, being mirrored now in the cosmos, great temple of the divine. And as you speed towards the cosmic axis, sense where its midpoint is and head towards it. As you get closer and closer, you can slow up. And when you reach it, stop and just take in this stupendous view of suggestive of the cosmic consciousness, the vastness of the cosmos. Feel the exhilaration being at the center of the cosmos, at the center of your being. Where as we rose higher and higher, we went deeper and deeper within ourselves. The very presence of the divine within, our true nature and guide. Following the instructions of the booklet Liber 777, you may wish now to fill in using all your psychic faculties, emotions, memory, and senses to visualize your personal sacred space at the heights of the celestial sanctum. Maybe a temple on earth, or maybe a sacred grove or inspiring hilltop or mountaintop, or you're by a seashore, or the expansive suggestion of the ocean. Just fill in the sights and sounds of your particular celestial sanctum. I wish to include other seekers on this conference call, Grand Lodge and Supreme Grand Lodge officers of the Rosicrucian Order Amulet, the visible and invisible masters. So officers may be conducting a sacred mystical convocation at the heights of the celestial sanctum now. Maybe was to picture stained glass windows or other depictions of symbols of Rosicrucian laws and principles. Just continue to fill in great structure and wonder and sacredness of your personal celestial sanctum. And when you've filled in all the sights and sounds and emotions and the sense of love and well-being there, just release your visualization when you're ready by saying, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. When you do so, then just dwell in the deep silence, in profound peace. Just let go, let be, let flow, and feel whatever there is to feel in the silence. Just enjoy the great enrichment of being at the heights of the celestial sanctum, the center of your being. Soon we'll continue our meditation from the heights of the celestial sanctum, undertaking another spiritual operation of the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order Amulet. I invite you now to participate in a period of sending of metaphysical aid. You can do it as a silent council in conjunction with the Council of Solace of the Rosicrucian Order Amok. Let us radiate love and well-being to all those who have petitioned Grand Lodge of the Rosicrucian Order Amok for guidance and healing. And let us radiate from the depths of our beings, our hearts, and our minds love and well-being to all those who have petitioned the affiliated bodies of the Rosicrucian Order Amok for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those we know who are in need of guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all sentient beings throughout the cosmos who are in need of guidance and healing. Just let the love and well-being radiate out from you like a great spotlight, filling the cosmos. First, use strong conscious effort like you did in rising up to the heights of celestial sanctum to radiate out this light of love and well-being. Feel the exhilaration of the flow. And after a while, I think you can find the divine within will take over. You won't need to make any conscious effort. The flow will continue, even speed up, and you'll know it's reaching those in need. As an unknown to an unknown. As the radiations of love and well-being continue, just continue to surrender to the divine within. As the radiations of love and well-being fill the universe, so let our minds fill the universe, be one with the cosmic, encompassing the cosmos. And surrender to be one with the one. Brothers and sorors and participants, soon we'll close our period of sending of metaphysical aid, but we'll continue our meditation a while longer. I invite you to say with me now to formally close our period of sending of metaphysical aid, assured that it will continue deep within us as part of our mission in life. If it pleases the cosmic, it is done, so mote it be. Now let us continue a while longer to surrender to the divine within, at one with the one. And soon we'll begin our ascent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. We wish to invoke the law of gratitude. It'll intensify the law of cosmic attunement we've been applying throughout this meditation period by expressing our thanks to all those who have taught us well, all those who have loved us well, all those who have sacrificed well on our behalf. Knowing that our love is reaching them. Whatever state they're in. Now, brothers and sisters and participants, let's begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum, moving at tremendous speed, way beyond the speed of light, past the myriad super clusters of galaxies, galaxies and nebula, myriad stellar phenomena, the great cosmic web connecting the stars, galaxies, sensing the great harmony of the spheres, the great sea of vibrations as we pass through the universe. And see in the distance the great spiraling arms of the Milky Way galaxy, our local home. As we move towards it and plunge into it, past the myriad planets and rogue planets and asteroids, cosmic web, pulsars and quasars. You see in the distance the beautiful elliptical orbits of the solar system. And our sun, our local star, manipulate spheroid, the Earth, beautiful blue jewel. We come back to the hemisphere where we left off, the continent, the great nation or country, our province or state, our city or town, a local geographic area, and I invite you to say with me a closing invocation and prayer. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. And let us continue in our descent back to our neighborhood, our home, our building, the room where we left off and how we were situated. And taking a deep breath and stretching, being remade, rejuvenated, recharged, and rested, all the more ready for the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order Amark now and always. When you're ready, you may wish to open your eyes and we'll continue. Thank you. So continue with our presentation, The Eyes of a Mystic. Before you now, you'll see actually two works by Nicomedes Gomez. On the left is Moses with the symbolic depiction of light radiating out from him. It can also be times seen psychically. And we have beside again Paul. They're both looking upward in divine attunement, just as we did in our own ascent to the heights of the celestial sanctum. And you'll see in Moses a great sense of well-being, and a sense of rightness, and a sense of depth, and the true vision, the inner vision. For we speak of the outer vision of the eyes, but also the inner vision that they're paralleled through both through psychic sight and ultimately a form of mystical sight. The handling of the figure is similar, but the beard is handled very differently, but still gives that in its waves and curls a sense of dynamic action that the seer and mystic is undertaking. This reminds me also of a work depicting a Rosicrucian professor, Nicholas Roerich, you see before us. Very strong eye to the mystic. This painting is by Zethroslav Rorik, who was a son of Nicholas. And you can see the piercing gaze that Svetoslav has depicted for us. It reminds me too of the mystic and New England transcendentalist who wrote in his text, The Conduct of Life, Ralph Waldo Emerson, much on the eye. And thinking of this, we can keep in mind this depiction of Nicholas Roerich. I'll give some excerpts from Emerson's writing on the eye. The eye can threaten like a loaded and level pistol, or it can insult like hissing or kicking, or in its altered mood, can by beams of kindness make the heart dance with joy. Some eyes have no more expression than blueberries. Others are liquid and deep, wells that a person might fall into. See, there's a tremendous range of experiences that can come about in seeing others' eyes or even our own eyes in a mirror. Here we have another work depicting, again, Nicholas Roerich, again by his son, Svetoslav Roerich. Here we see Roerich around his beloved Himalayan mountains, and the very piercing eyes and the great deal of calmness and the sense of oneness with all nature around him. It brings to mind also the expression that many of us have heard, the eyes are the window of the soul. Now, that's a quote that's had various references over the centuries. For example, we know that in ancient Roman times, that the philosopher Marcus Tullius Cicero said, the face is the picture of the mind, as the eyes are its interpreter. Similarly, the Matthew the Apostle wrote in the New Testament of the Bible, in Matthew 6:22, the eye is the lamp of the body. Or in a slightly different translation of that, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, the whole body shall be full of light. Now, sacred texts are written with various senses or levels of meaning. And this passage I just read to you has multiple levels. It can be taken literally, but also all the way through to the moral, tropological, or the anagogical, the mystical. If you can mind, if the eye be single, as a esoteric interpretation of the practice of meditation, to be focused and single-minded, that helps concentrate, draws us into the cosmic sense. Also, thy whole body shall be full of light, reminds us too in our practice of ascent to the heights of the celestial sanctum, the tremendous flow, enrichment, intensification of the life force in us, and the radiation of the aura out from us as we come into the cosmic attunement, and the way that fullness and light. We see when we look upon a person, not only the expression of light in the ascension here, but how also a person is giving their body image. Some would say their body language. Here we see the right hand by the heart, the sense of reverence. And we sense the upward ascension of the rates of vibration and attunement with the cosmic. But also the calm continence. All these things come together to give the deeper impression when we look in the eyes of another or the eyes of a mystic. You see here a very intriguing work of the figure like Cinna from ancient times. And you can see in a way she's in a reverie. The artist has been able to paint it so well, it's almost sensing like we have a three-dimensional living vital person before us. She's not looking directly at us. The personage is not a direct gaze, but we do get a sense that they're very deeply contemplating, reflecting on something. And there's a degree possibly of concern, but also a deep sense of calmness coming up. Indeed, when we're very calm, and meditation, as I mentioned, helps us like that. In a way, our sensitivity is like the calm surface on a pond. And when a person speaks to us or they look at us, or there's some action directed towards us, it's like they've thrown a pebble in the pond and the ripples go forth. If we've been agitated, we might not even know that a pebble was thrown in, an intimation or something that they expressed to us, or something that's been unspoken that we pick up on. Maybe an early warning signal, something to address in regard to that person, or something that's they've said that is a good positive sign to proceed further in our contact with them. Either way, we'll know more how to apply that sensitivity that comes in meditation. As we see in this figure here, that deep sensitivity, a great sense of awareness. The impressions from the outer mind are then worked with on the screen of the mind through the subjective consciousness, as well as the subconscious, and ultimately the guidance of the divine within, and how to know and act, all through the eyes of the mystic. And here's some of these works I've shown you before in other presentations. You see here a young girl listening to a seashell in the sense of, and through meditation and practice of mystic, we become better listeners to the divine within us, to all the signals in our body, but also to all the signals that are going on throughout us, through the eyes, through the hearing, through all the senses, both physical and psychic. And it's very beautiful here that the child incarnated, a sense of the cosmic coming through her, especially more if we zoom in and we see even the pupils of her eyes. It's interesting that in modern science, there's a measurement instruments that do what's called pupillometry, or they measure the size of the pupil, such as its radius or diameter. And pupil size, we know, is an indication of the stress response, such as the stress, but also as the pupils become smaller. And that actually, we know, can happen through studies in mindfulness meditation. It can be a reduction in the pupil, suggesting a calmness. Indeed, the size of the pupils is guided through the autonomic nervous system. Just as I mentioned during meditation, there's a balancing of the autonomic nervous system. There can be, through pupillometry, studies of a psychological and health nature, the randomized controlled trials seen in patients or the subjects, some of them experiencing a great deal of anxiety and trauma, that through the mindfulness meditation practice, we can see through the questionnaires and self-reported psychological scales, decreased calmness and well-being, decrease in anxiety and so forth, but also that measure of the autonomic balance through the decreased size of their pupils. And we can also pick up that subtly when we're looking in the eyes of others by the size of their pupils, as one of the many cues that we get from this highly evolved and sensitive organ, the eye. Now, in the eye, there's a wonderful degree of complexity. The pupils and the lens and the rods and how they all connect up and work. Really, it gives us an idea of how the human being is a temple of the master within, the microcosm mirroring the great temple of the cosmos, the macrocosm. And a wonderful subject for art to convey. As they used to say of the artist Rembrandt, he could paint souls. He depicted the person so well on a two-dimensional surface. They almost sensed that you had a breathing person before you. Now, part of the great interest uh, in the eye is that it's also suggested what mystics call the third eye. And we can also sense through it, as in depicted in this person before us, a person who's been through a great deal. We know that from the artist who created this work. That someone had had a very challenging life, but they've been able to work through it and rise up phoenix-like, like the lotus from beautiful from the muddy waters. The eyes can also sense to us a great sense of caring, a great sense of duty, as depicted in this knight picture of a medieval knight, and the great depths of the eyes, a sense of unconditional caring that we come into through the cosmic sense. Similarly, in the eyes, we can pick up whether they're gazing straight at us or not, a great sense of well-being and love. This is the depiction of the Virgin of Love um, by Nicomendes Gomez, the Rosicrucian artist I referred to. You see the gentleness and the continence, but also the softness in the eyes, a deep sense of spirituality and well-being and love that's associated with the mystic Mary. On a similar way, we can pick up in the eyes a very penetrating gaze that may suggest to us a sense of sadness. We see here a young person, their hand to their head, so we have the body language there that they're suffering, they're using their hand and the life force of the hand to calm and gently and soothing for themselves. Their gaze is penetrating towards us. Indeed, if we zoom in, we have important clues in addition to the eyes with the body language up to the side. You notice in close that she has a wedding, appears to be a wedding band, and also a wedding ring or wedding band here, and a letter. It's intriguing that that the owner of this painting said that after 42 years of hanging in their dining room, that they pieced together the backstory for this enthralling personage before us. The subject is said apparently had lost her partner in a war, and we note the telltale signs of what may be a letter that was telling her of this news, and then possibly his wedding ring was mailed to her, and we have her wedding ring showing their underlying unity in marriage, suggests also the deep bond of mystical marriage, but also her wooded hood here, in a sense of being in exile. This is a way in the great work of humanity to regain back the marriage of our divine nature with our outer nature. It's a very poignant work. All these works I've shown you repay us greatly to take our time with and build up and increase awareness of what's going on. We can apply this throughout our lives when we look in the eyes of others and what they're conveying to us. We see here, as we get close to closing, on the left, Nicomendes Gomez, photographs of the mystic and artist. And on the right, Imperator Emeritus Ralph M. Lewis. Again, both very powerful gazes as mystics. That of Nicomendes Gomez, you see the softness in his eyes, but also in his whole nature, and the face, smoothness, the body posture with his hands. You get a sense of the great wisdom and esoteric knowledge that he had in depicting his works of art, but also the same in a different way through our Imperator Emeritus, a great sense of vision depicted here by Gomez of his past incarnated master. The subdued colors and sort of a brown, but also in the light, particularly on the continents, waving of the hair, the various sense of the jacket, giving almost like a landform, and then the beautiful red rose. So we see the red rose in the eyes, and they're penetrating and sense of wellness and rightness and vision and how to proceed, and also suggestions of the aura about both of them, that they have the eyes of the mystic, suggestive also of the third eye. That is, Rosicrucians learn about in its exercises to stimulate the pineal gland. It's in the brain, but we know it's associated with that great psychic center that dampens down the highest rates of vibrations of the cosmos for our interpretation in the outer mind, as these two mystics are doing before us. In a similar fashion, I wanted to conclude with this cosmic face. In a way, encompasses both the inner and outer states of vision. That in a akin fashion, as Rosicrucian students, we have a mirror before us in our home sanctum, and we look into our eyes. And looking into the eyes, we can get a great sense of the divine within and our trials and struggles in our earlier incarnations, if we are so inclined to a doctrine of reincarnation. Here we see in the work before us the spiraling galaxy like the Milky Way that we ascended into the heights of the celestial sanctum and in tune with the cosmic mind. In a way, the face here with its penetrating and eyes of great depth gives a sense of the cosmos and the cosmic and the universal intelligence back of it. So in this fashion, we'll soon conclude, but I'll ask Karen to paste in the chat the resources for you. And you can also see the links there you can click on, but also they'll be in as a PDF document that you may find easiest to download. So by way of conclusion, I will mention that we followed up on the 1963 issue of the Rosicrucian Digest that had an article by Imperator Emeritus H. Spencer Lewis entitled "The Eyes of a Mystic." And we follow on that art on this intriguing subject that we've all worked to deeply fathom. And we've considered the conveyances that appear to come to us when we look into the eyes and how these intimations help us in entering into cosmic communion and in learning the lessons of life. And in this fashion, we've continued to explore Rosicrucian laws and principles and their creative expression and application for the mastery of life, harmonious living, and service. Thank you, everyone.